Parasite, Gu, breeding longevity path, starting from the love-enamored Gu. Author, Thousand Lakes True Person. Chapter 441. The First Pill Tribulation, Chi of Creation _1. With this cultivation technique, my defensive power has significantly increased. Zhou Sui was very satisfied. As a person on Go Dao, he had great enthusiasm for any life-saving cultivation techniques. That's why he made every effort to successfully cultivate the ancient turtle skill. Now looking, all was worth it. Right, let me check my current data. A thought flashed in Zhou Sui's mind, and he immediately opened his data panel. Host, Zhou Sui, Cultivation, Late Golden Core, Progress 95%, Lifespan, 95, 10,200 years. Aptitude, 4-leaf Spiritual Root, 65%. Swordsmanship, 3rd class, high grade, 99%. Rune, 3rd class, high grade, 99%. 7th order formation, 4th class, high grade, 99%. Pill master, 3rd class, high grade, 99%. Artifact refining, 3rd class, low grade, 10%. Phantasma transformation skill, Grandmaster, 60%. 5 elements alchemy technique, Grandmaster, 99%. Illusory demon heart method, demon seed, summoning demon. 7 apertures spirit secret, heart eye recognition, heart eye insight, heart eye linguistics. Ancient turtle skill, 1st level, soul dispersing stinger, great achievement, fireball technique, Grandmaster, wind blade art, Grandmaster, golden light skill, Grandmaster, ice frost skill, Grandmaster, spring wind rain skill, Grandmaster, lightning summoning skill, Grandmaster. Obsession Gu, 4th class, high grade, clone Gu, 3rd class, high grade, wine bug, 3rd class, high grade, gold eating bug, 3rd class, high grade, bookworm, 3rd class, high grade, dream soul Gu, 4th class, low grade, dragon elephant Gu, 3rd class, high grade, golden light thousand poison Gu, 3rd class, high grade, teleportation insect, 3rd class, high grade, array heart Gu, 4th class, high grade, object searching Gu, 3rd class, high grade, robbery thunderworm, 3rd class, high grade. Clearly, after 5 years of rigorous cultivation, all his abilities have been greatly enhanced. Firstly, his cultivation level has increased to a progress of 95%. Which means, with some more rigorous cultivation, he could progress to the realm of golden core completion. At that time, he can try forming the nascent soul. It has to be said, the rapid increase of his cultivation level is somewhat related to Chu Dai's arrival. After all, with Lin Yazue and Chu Dai, 2 nascent soul female cultivators dual cultivating with him, the speed of cultivation naturally increased rapidly. The efficiency is countless times that of before. That's why he managed to increase to a progress of 95% in just 5 years, which is indeed a pleasant surprise. Good, my artifact refining level has finally reached the 3rd stage. Zhou Sui was very satisfied. In these 5 years, besides cultivating the ancient turtle skill, he also focused on learning the art of artifact refining. Of course, his choice to learn artifact refining was not because he wanted to refine magic weapons. It was purely because if you wanted to arrange a formation, you need to refine flags and array plates, etc. Without a certain level in artifact refining, it would still be impossible to achieve success. That's why he invested some effort into learning about artifact refining. Now, he can be said to have managed to just attain a lower grade 3rd rank of artifact refining. However, with this, he has indeed become a 6-sided soldier. Regardless of any knowledge or skill in the cultivation world, he has a certain degree of proficiency. My alchemy realm has also reached the upper limit of the 3rd stage, it's time for a breakthrough. Zhou Sui rubbed his chin. Honestly, for these 5 years, he had been stuck in the 3rd grade pill master realm and hadn't been able to break through. But there was no choice. If the 4th grade pill master was that easy to promote, the Kanglan Sea area wouldn't be short of 4th grade pill masters. This is a huge bottleneck. It's as difficult as a golden core cultivator trying to upgrade to the nascent soul realm. But after accumulating knowledge for 5 years, constantly studying the knowledge of various 4th grade pill masters, he feels he has gained enough pill master knowledge. Still, if he really wants to break through, he must practice. After all, having good alchemy theory is useless, you still have to successfully refine a pill. Only then can you be considered a true pill master. Otherwise, it wouldn't have any sense. Who? With that thought, Zhou Sui's body flashed, and he immediately arrived at an exclusive alchemy room at Immortal Mist Peak. This was his exclusive alchemy room, with a lower-grade spirit treasure level pill furnace placed in the middle. This was also something the Immortal Mist sect had spent a lot of money to purchase. Of course, for the wealth-bathed Immortal Mist City, such an amount of spirit stones was not a big deal. This time, Zhou Sui planned to refine a 4th-grade pill, the Pure Yang Returning Pill. The main ingredients were 1000-year dragon pattern grass, silver moon flower, flowing firefly fruit, etc. Each main ingredient was very valuable. They were all painstakingly collected at a great cost. The so-called Pure Yang Returning Pill was actually a type of recovery pill, able to instantly replenish the mana of nascent soul cultivators. This kind of pill was crucial to nascent soul cultivators. Because once a nascent soul cultivator depleted their mana, it would take a long time to replenish. The issue is, in a fight, where would the enemy give you the chance to recover your mana? So, a Pure Yang Returning Pill became extremely important, able to instantly restore your mana. In a certain sense, it was the equivalent of saving your life. Therefore, this pill was highly sought after by nascent soul cultivators. Unfortunately, there were too few pill masters capable of refining this kind of pill, and they were virtually rare. Rumble. At this moment, Zhou Sui immediately threw all of these spiritual medicines into the pill furnace and began to use the 5 elements alchemy technique. The Grandmaster level 5 elements alchemy technique was infinitely useful. It could perfectly purify all of the impurities in these spiritual medicines, only leaving behind the purest essence of the spiritual medicine. The power of fire, water, earth, wood, and gold were released in the pill furnace, forming the 5 elements power, constantly refining the spiritual medicine. Chapter 442. The First Pill Tribulation, Chi of Creation _2. No wonder becoming a 4th stage pill master requires one to be a nascent soul cultivator. This 4th order spiritual medicine, if judged solely by the divine sense of a golden core master, cannot detect the impurities in it. Only when one has a divine sense at the nascent soul level can they perceive the impurities in a 4th order spiritual medicine. Zhou Sui exclaimed in astonishment. When his divine sense power entered these 4th order spiritual medicines, he immediately sensed a lot of impurities deep inside them. The reason he could sense this was solely because his divine sense power is now comparable to that of a cultivator in the late nascent soul stage. If his divine sense were just at the golden core realm, then he certainly wouldn't be able to perceive this. Therefore, the impurities in the 4th order spiritual medicine cannot be eliminated. Hence, the concoction of 4th order pills would inevitably fail. After all, the concoction of 4th order treasure pills must be devoid of any impurities. If there's a bit of impurities mixed in, it would result in a failure in core formation. Every single 4th order pill must be an artwork among pills, perfect and flawless. Almost there, the impurities have been cleaned. The next step is to condense the pill. Zhou Sui took a deep breath. He sensed that within the pill furnace, all the impurities of the spiritual medicines have been eliminated, leaving only droplets of the spiritual liquid's essence. Under the wrap of his powerful divine sense power, these spiritual liquids converged together. The medicinal strength of every single spiritual liquid droplet couldn't evaporate, as they were all bound within the domain. No one knew how much time had passed. All spiritual medicine liquids within the pill furnace converged together, gradually condensing into pills under the control of 5 elements power. Suddenly, these pills that were about to form immediately released a strong medicinal scent from the pill furnace. The scent covered the entire mountain peak, was pleasant to the nose and filled with glowing light. Bang! At this moment, the sky above the alchemy room, which had no roof and was directly connected to the sky, was bathed in sunlight. But now, the sky was enveloped in thick dark clouds, covering several miles around it. Although this scene wasn't as terrifying as the nascent soul heavenly tribulation, it was rather astonishing. From deep within the dark clouds, a golden heavenly tribulation power flickered occasionally, sending chills down one's spine. What's happening? Why are there signs of heavenly tribulation all of a sudden? Lin Yazhu, who was initially in her cultivation, woke up in surprise. She too sensed the sudden appearance of dark clouds in the sky outside, covering the immortal mist peak. It must be that the master is concocting a 4th order pill. Only a 4th order treasure pills can trigger this pill tribulation. Chu Dai spoke in a deep voice. She's seen a lot and naturally witnessed the scene of fourth order pill concoction. After all, there are always fourth stage pill masters in Sky Demon sect who concoct treasure pills from time to time. She had seen the incident when fourth order treasure pills were formed and had undergone heavenly tribulation, covering several miles. Such a scene was simply unforgettable. From then on, she knew the preciousness of a fourth order pill master. They are even rarer than nascent soul cultivators. No matter where they go, they would be treated as esteemed guests. No way, if that's true, then isn't my master about to become a fourth order pill master? On hearing this, Shen Baiqian was taken aback. She knew that her master had been studying alchemy for years, but was stuck at the third stage for a long time. She too was in the same situation. Being a third stage pill master, she naturally knows how powerful a fourth stage pill master is. She didn't even dare to dream of becoming a fourth stage pill master before becoming a nascent soul cultivator. But now, her master wanted to become a fourth order pill master while still in the golden core realm. This kind of talent in alchemy is simply unheard of. Even in the Kanglan Sea region, such an alchemy talent must be unprecedented. I'm not sure, but based on the master's character, he wouldn't act until he was sure. We'll just have to wait and see. Chu Dai gave a slight smile. Young Master Zhou is really amazing. Chun Tao, Xia Tao, Kai Hu Dao and Dong Tao, the four golden core maidservants, were blushing in admiration. They were in awe of Zhou Sui and didn't know how to describe Zhou Sui's talent. The fact that this man could become a fourth order array master was already an extraordinary existence. But now, he even aspires to be a fourth order pill master, which is simply defying the heavens. I'm afraid even the talented island master can't compare to my husband. At this very moment, within the alchemy room, the sky was covered in dark clouds, and thunder was rolling. It's about to start. Zhou Sui was very excited. He knew that to refine a fourth order treasure pill, he must face the pill tribulation. Only by enduring the pill tribulation can a treasure pill be formed. In a sense, this is refining a pill with the help of heavenly thunder. That's why he didn't set up a roof in his own alchemy room, in order to facilitate the connection with the heavenly tribulation outside, to make it easier for the heavenly thunder to descend. Boom! In an instant, a tiny golden heavenly tribulation descended from the sky, and slammed violently into the pill furnace. The lower grade spiritual treasure level pill furnace instantly absorbed the golden heavenly tribulation, and transformed it into thousands of small tribulations, each of which struck the pills inside the pill furnace. Truth be told, this is the purpose of a spiritual treasure level pill furnace. Not only can it preserve the medicinal power of the spiritual medicine to the greatest extent, but it can also help the pill master to weaken the power of the pill tribulation, increasing the success rate of refining fourth order treasure pills. If it were just a treasure level pill furnace, I'm afraid it would not have this benefit. Therefore, for an alchemist, the pill furnace is also of utmost importance. It can be regarded as a crucial tool. This. Zhou Sui narrowed his eyes. Under his hard eye's perception, as strands of thin, golden heavenly tribulation infiltrated each pill, all the impurities within were instantly expelled. No, not exactly expelled, it should be considered destroyed. In the face of this pure yang power of thunder tribulation, many impurities couldn't survive. Truth be told, he originally thought that under the action of his 5 elements alchemy technique, there shouldn't be any impurities in the pills, but now seeing this, such impurities hid deep within. If it weren't for the power of the pill tribulation, there would be no way to find them out. Here it comes again. Zhou Sui was startled because not only one of these golden thunder tribulations descended, but they came in succession, with a total of 9 golden thunder tribulations appearing. They bombarded onto the pill furnace simultaneously, unleashing terrifying destructive power. Of course, in terms of power, they naturally could not compare to the nascent soul heavenly tribulation. The problem was that they were targeting the pills inside the pill furnace. Pills were extremely fragile. If they weren't stopped, the pills would surely fail this time. Many thousand-year-old spiritual medicines would be ruined in an instant. Nascent soul domain. In an instant, with a flick of Zhou Sui's thought, he used his nascent soul domain. The enormous divine sense formed a domain, enclosing the entire inside of the pill furnace. It formed barriers of domains, continuously weakening the 9 golden thunder tribulations descending from the sky. Rumble. In an instant, strands of thunder tribulations descended, each striking violently onto the pill furnace. After the reduction of the nascent soul domain and the pill furnace, when the power of thunder tribulation fell onto the pills, there wasn't much left, at least it wouldn't directly destroy the pills. At this moment, after the baptism of 9 golden thunder tribulations, the pills inside were reduced from the size of a thumb to the size of a glass bead. Obviously many impurities were destroyed by the thunder tribulation, leaving only the most pure essence. Great, the pill tribulation has finally ended. Could this be the chi of creation? Zhou Sui was overjoyed, because after the descent of the 9 golden thunder tribulations, the tribulation clouds in the sky quickly dissipated, and following that, strands of chi of creation descended. He immediately used the 5 elements alchemy technique, capturing all the chi of creation and put them into the pill furnace. Instantly, all the chi of creation entered the pills. They also contributed to the formation of each treasure pill. Boom! After an unknown amount of time, within the entire pill furnace, golden treasure pills were bred, and a golden thunder tribulation pattern appeared on them, unfathomable. Each treasure pill shone with brilliant light, extremely dazzling. This made the entire alchemy room golden and magnificent, as if covered by the sun, radiating an eternal light. At the same time, the endless fragrance of pills spread for 10 miles, it was fragrant and refreshing, causing great shock to the mind. Chapter 443. Promotion to the 4th stage pill master, 8 tribulation treasure pill, 9 heavy pill tribulations _1. Done, finally done. A total of 9 pills were made. I am now a 4th class, low-grade alchemist. Zhou Sui laughed heartily, filled with joy. He perceptively felt that inside the pill furnace, there laid 9 round 4th stage treasure pills, pure yang healing pills. Such 4th stage treasure pills did not only restore one's mana, but they could also heal various injuries, cure defects, and improve physical quality. It is safe to say they had endless wonderful uses. They were indeed worthy to be called treasure pills. But the ability to refine these 4th grade treasure pills was due to the power of the nascent soul mana domain. If it wasn't for the power of the nascent soul mana domain, they would not have been able to diminish the destructive power of the pill catastrophe. In such a case, the arrival of the pill catastrophe would have resulted in the immediate destruction of the pills. No wonder without achieving the nascent soul stage, you can't refine 4th stage pills. The sheer power of pill catastrophe is not something that a golden core cultivator can withstand. Zhou Sui was deeply moved. He had managed to gain control of the power that only nascent soul cultivators possessed, which is why he was able to become a 4th stage pill master ahead of time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to become a 4th stage pill master. Wait, do the 9 pure yang healing pills actually have pill patterns? According to the knowledge of the 4th stage pill master, a pill that survives a single pill catastrophe will bear a single pill pattern. If it survives 2 pill catastrophes, it will bear 2 pill patterns. Likewise, if it survives 9 pill catastrophes, it will bear 9 pill patterns, which would make it a 9 catastrophes treasure pill. But there's been no record of a 9 catastrophes treasure pill in the human world. Having a double catastrophes treasure pill is already considered quite remarkable. Zhou Sui stroked his chin. He realized that the path of a pill master was indeed profound, and his current progress was still at its initiation stage. Even though he had become a 4th stage pill master, it didn't really account for much. Swoosh! At this point, the door of the alchemy room opened. Lin Yazhu, Chu Daiyi, and some others walked in. They looked around the alchemy room with curiosity. Husband, did you really make a 4th stage treasure pill? Shen Baiqian's eyes sparkled with surprise as she looked at Zhou Sui. She could smell the rich aroma of herbs that filled the alchemy room, which revitalized her, making her feel as if every part of her body was celebrating. The fragrance of this 4th grade treasure pill was simply irresistible. Being a 4th class, high-grade pill master herself, she naturally sensed the extraordinary power of this pill. Yes, I did. I crossed the first pill catastrophe and successfully made the pure yang healing pill. Zhou Sui smirked slightly, he had no intention to hide anything. Husband actually successfully refined the pure yang healing pill. This is a pill that even a 4th stage pill master has a high chance of failing to produce. And you managed to make 9 of them in one go, that's amazing. If these 4th stage treasure pills were to be sold, they could probably be exchanged for a lower grade spirit treasure. Dai was astounded. She knew the value of a 4th stage treasure pill, especially the pure yang healing pill. For a nascent soul cultivator, it was like having an extra life. It could play an enormous role at critical moments. Especially for late-stage nascent soul cultivators who didn't have much mana left. Taking a pure yang healing pill would instantly restore their mana to its full state, making them incredibly potent opponents for other nascent soul cultivators. In essence, Each pure yang healing pill was a trump card, worth a fortune. However, it was stated that in the ancient era, the value of a fourth stage treasure pill was not so shocking. But as time passed and the numbers of fourth stage pill masters decreased, coupled with the scarcity of various thousand-year-old spiritual medicines, this led to a gradual decrease in the number of fourth-class pills. The saying "the rarer a thing is, the more it is valued" holds true. Thus, naturally, the value of the fourth stage treasure pills kept rising. That's right. I am now a vein of spirit stone in the Kanglan Sea. Zhou Sui was pleased with himself. Frankly, this statement wasn't an exaggeration but a fact. The wealth earned by every fourth-class pill master was no less than that of a spirit stone mine, perhaps even more. As soon as they successfully refined a fourth-class treasure pill, it would attract numerous nascent soul cultivators. They were willing to spend a lot of resources to exchange for treasure pills. This was just like exchanging billions of trousers for a single aircraft in the olden days, such is the value brought about by high technology. Husband, I want to learn how to refine pills from you. Lin Yazua gave Zhou Sui a seductive look. Yes, teach us too. Let's see how the husband managed to make a fourth-class treasure pill. Lang Yuexi and the other Tao partners laughed gigglingly, being very bold. Seeing his Tao partner's seductive expressions, Zhou Sui understood these seductresses were not looking to learn anything from him, they simply wanted to devour him. They were like hungry wolves. After years of training, they were no longer the naive little girls they once were. But before he could get away, they grabbed him, all hands on deck. Obviously, they wanted to celebrate with Zhou Sui, and also taste this fourth-class pill master. A few days later, in the Immortal Mist sect, within the bedroom, Zhou Sui had to use all his strength and tricks to teach all he knew to his Tao partners and make sure they benefited greatly and were content. The Tao partners were satisfied and finally they let him go. Luckily, his physical strength was decent, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to handle the knowledge cravings of his Tao partners. Boom! At this time, a violent earthquake shook the whole Tri-Star Island group again. Endless nature's spiritual energy transformed into a storm, sweeping across the sea area. Chapter 444. Promotion to the 4th Stage Pill Master, 8 Tribulation Treasure Pill, 9 Heavy Pill Tribulations _2. The incident had affected every cultivator in this sea region. What's going on? Zhou Sui squinted his eyes, feeling quite puzzled, for this was not a natural phenomenon. Rather, it was a terrifying wave of power that swept across 1,000,000 miles of the sea region. My lord, could something have happened at the Divinity Transformation Relic? Chu Dai immediately thought of that enigmatic Divinity Transformation Relic. After all, the relic was too close to the Tri-Star Island group, anything happening there would inevitably affect the islands. Yes, indeed, something has happened at the Divinity Transformation Relic. At this moment, a thought struck Zhou Sui, and he began to communicate with his many clones. His clones were scattered throughout the Wuji Alliance Sea region. Some of them were stationed near the Divinity Transformation Relic. They weren't planning to enter to explore and collect treasures, but to gather information in the vicinity. After all, even if Zhou Sui didn't want to venture into the Divinity Transformation Relic, he at least needed to know what was happening inside. This was what was meant by understanding oneself and one's adversary to ensure victory in every battle. Of course, Zhou Sui's main body did not constantly keep in touch with his clones. He would only reach out to them and gather information when necessary. Boom! At this moment, a large amount of information was instantly channeled from his clones into the bookworm, where it was consumed, digested and absorbed, turning into countless books filled with all kinds of information. This was another ability of the bookworm, it could arrange Zhou Sui's memories into diary-like books. Organizing so many memories from countless clones was a troublesome task otherwise. Multiple nascent soul forces have united, spending 5 years to finally break the outer prohibition array. They have now entered the Divinity Transformation Relic. The earthquake and the spiritual energy storm that just occurred were caused by the disruption of the outer array of the Divinity Transformation Relic. Zhou Sui quickly gleaned this information from his clones' memories. He saw numerous nascent soul cultivators shattering the outer prohibition array, causing a terrifying spiritual energy fluctuation which struck like a storm, sweeping across 1,000,000 miles of sea. It showed the strength and horror of the 5th stage array. No way, they broke it so quickly. Lin Yazua was shocked. According to previous analysis, for these nascent soul forces to break the 5th stage prohibition array, they would need at least several decades. However, they managed to do it in just 5 years, which was beyond expectation. We've underestimated the strength of these nascent soul forces. Numerous nascent soul forces employed over 100 fourth-stage array masters, locating the weak points in the fifth-stage prohibition array. Of course, in ancient times, there would have been no flaws in the fifth-stage array. But after tens of thousands of years of weathering, these prohibition arrays have become damaged due to neglect. Without anyone managing the array, it has become a death trap. This gave the fourth-stage array masters an opportunity to break the array. Moreover, the Suanbao Tower unexpectedly produced a precious fifth-stage prohibition-breaking talisman, instantly destroying the outer prohibition array. Consequently, they succeeded in entering the divinity transformation relic. Zhou Sui explained, sharing the information he had gathered. After all, his clones were hidden in the shadows. They used their hard eyes ability to eavesdrop on the conversations of many cultivators. Even the nascent soul cultivators couldn't detect the prying of the hard eyes, so they let down their guard. The clones uncovered much information. The fifth-stage prohibition-breaking talisman. Even the Suanbao Tower is incredibly wealthy, to be able to possess a fifth-stage prohibition-breaking talisman. Chu Dai was shocked. Even the treasury of the Sky Demon sect could not boast of having a fifth-stage prohibition-breaking talisman. This talisman was as valuable as a divinity transformation, and might even be extinct. However, the Suanbao Tower could produce it, proving that it deserved to be the richest nascent soul force in the Kanglan Sea region. No wonder they held a neutral position in the Kanglan Sea region. It wasn't because they were adept at dealing with people. No matter how good you are, if others do not pay you respect, they simply won't. Only strength, great strength, can earn the respect of other forces. Clearly, the Suanbao Tower was such a powerful nascent soul force that even many other nascent soul sects had no choice but to show them respect. If that's the case, won't these nascent soul cultivators start fighting? Shen Baiqian immediately thought of this. Previously, numerous nascent soul cultivators peacefully coexisted in this sea region, united in their efforts to solve the outer array of the divinity transformation relic. But now, with the outer array broken, it implies that everyone can enter the relic and claim its treasures. A conflict could potentially start at any moment. And this tranquil sea region could fall into chaos. Indeed, this sea region is about to plunge into chaos. I've decided to activate the Xianyan heavy water array to seal the Tri-Star Island group. Zhou Sui declared solemnly. What? Upon hearing this, Lang Yuexi and the others were taken aback, as they didn't expect Zhou Sui to make such a decision. Because once the Xianyan heavy water array was activated, it would be equivalent to sealing the sect. Cultivators inside wouldn't be able to leave. And of course, those outside wouldn't be able to get in. This was a decision that a nascent soul force would make only during life or death situations. However, the advantages of doing so were considerable. If the fourth stage top grade array were activated to seal off this sea region, anyone trying to invade the Tri-Star Island group would find it nearly impossible to do so. Chapter 445. Promotion to the fourth stage Pill Master, A Tribulation Treasure Pill, 9 Heavy Pill Tribulations _3. This would also guarantee the utmost safety of the 3 major sects to the greatest extent. But there are also many drawbacks. This would inevitably drive away many cultivators, interrupt trade, and create huge losses. However, Lang Yuexi and others fully understood their husband's thoughts, that is, the many nascent soul cultivators could easily affect the Tri-Star Island group in a battle royale. If some nascent soul cultivators were to carelessly intrude, it would undoubtedly pose a huge threat. So instead of waiting for these nascent soul cultivators to enter the Tri-Star Island group, it would be better to directly activate the Grand Formation to seal it. In doing so, it would be bracing for rainy days. Husband, I understand. I will give the order immediately to seal the islands within 3 days. But what about the teleportation array? Lang Yuexi asked. The teleportation array doesn't matter, let's keep it. I believe there is no enemy daring enough to take the teleportation array into our territory. Zhou Sui spoke in a deep voice. All right. Lang Yuexi nodded. In no time, the news of the imminent sealing of the Tri-Star Island group had instantly spread throughout Immortal Mist City, known by countless cultivators. This also stirred up a great uproar. What did you say? Immortal Mist City is about to seal the islands. Within 3 days, cultivators who don't leave cannot leave for 10 years. Hearing this, many cultivators were dumbfounded, they simply couldn't believe the news they heard. Yes, this is the order of the nascent soul ancestor. 3 days later, our Tri-Star Island group will be sealed. All trade activities are temporarily halted, it will last at least 10 years, and it's not ruled out that it will continue to be extended. If you don't want to stay here for 10 years, then you must leave within 3 days. Otherwise, it will be impossible for you to leave when the time comes. A cultivator from the King Mu sect replied, conveying the order of the nascent soul ancestor to many cultivators. How could this happen? Everything was fine, why would they suddenly seal the island? Didn't you hear? There was a big issue with the divinity transformation relic, and the outer prohibition array was opened. Next, there's probably going to be a battle royale involving nascent soul cultivators. Perhaps Immortal Mist City is afraid that the battle will affect them, so they are sealing the island in advance. This is just too cautious. But having said that, Immortal Mist City's way of doing things is quite correct. If the Tri-Star Island group is really affected, then it would be too late. Many people would die. Since this is the nascent soul ancestor's order, I doubt anyone can defy it. What have you guys decided? Of course I'm staying. The Tri-Star Island group is so large, it can be self-sufficient. Staying here for 10 years to practice quietly might not be a bad idea. To tell you the truth, I don't want to be trapped here for 10 years. This is just a stopover for me. I want to go on adventures in other places. I'd better leave as soon as possible. The cultivators were engaged in a lively discussion. Clearly, some cultivators intended to stay, while others intended to leave. Each cultivator had different thoughts. For a time, a large number of cultivators quickly left the Tri-Star Island group through the teleportation array, or piloted a flying boat to leave. The once bustling Immortal Mist City had lost over 70% of its cultivators. Only 30% of the cultivators decided to stay. Of course, for Zhou Sui, this was totally enough. 3 days later, the cultivators who planned to leave had all gone. The remaining cultivators were basically those who decided to live fully in the Tri-Star Island group, sharing wheel and woe with Immortal Mist City. In an instant, Zhou Sui didn't hesitate and immediately activated the 4th stage top-grade formation, the Xianyan Heavy Water Array. He didn't care what the remaining cultivators were thinking. As long as they didn't leave now, it would be considered their final decision. Boom boom. A huge barrier enveloped the sea area of the Tri-Star Island group. The endless heavy water boundary emerged. Like a giant water sphere, it tightly wrapped the 200,000 miles of the Tri-Star Island group's sea area from all 360 degrees without any dead angles. Any cultivator, any living creature, without Zhou Sui's permission, would not be able to leave the sea area. If they tried to force their way, they would be swallowed by the heavy water boundary, leaving no trace left, turning into nothingness. It can be said that the sea area has become an independent small world. Impressive, is this the full strength state of a 4th rank formation? It's really too powerful. Xia Jinjian's eyes widened, as she sensed the situation of the surrounding formation, she was incredibly shocked at heart. Now she was just a 2nd stage high-grade array master, who knows how far away from a 4th stage array master. But that didn't stop her from realizing how profound such a formation was. Isn't it? With such a formation running at full strength, even a late-stage nascent soul cultivator wouldn't dare to break in. Lang Yuexi exclaimed. She now slightly understood why a 4th stage formation was the everlasting foundation of a nascent soul force. Any nascent soul force, even if they fall into a decline, as long as they activate the 4th stage formation, other nascent soul cultivators will find it very difficult to attack, holding an invincible position. Indeed, they wouldn't dare to break in. Even the formation for the headquarters of our Sky Demon sect is not much superior to this. Chu Dai also nodded. Although she had never seen the Sky Demon sect activate its formation, she had seen pigs run even if she hadn't eaten pork. She could feel the awesome power of this Xianyan heavy water array, it absolutely surpassed the imagination. Husband, how did you do that? It's said that to maintain the operation of a 4th rank formation, it needs a lot of array masters to do maintenance. Chapter 446. Promotion to the 4th stage pill master, a tribulation treasure pill, 9 heavy pill tribulations _4. However, up until now, it seems that you, my lord, have had no need for any array master to help with the maintenance. Lin Yazul looked curiously at Zhou Sui. Because normally, nascent soul powers that wanted to maintain their own 4th stage array formations needed an array master to help, constantly monitoring each array point to prevent any accidents from happening to the array. If an accident or damage occurred, it would be repaired immediately. Otherwise, the array is easily vulnerable, leading other cultivators to solve it. But in this Xianyan heavy water array, from beginning to end, only Zhou Sui himself maintained it. Not requiring any other array master to get involved, it truly was unthinkable. Well, that naturally is a secret. Zhou Sui gave a slight smile. He wasn't planning to explain, as he didn't need to explain everything to his partner. Having a bit of mystery wasn't a bad thing. The reason he could manage this was, of course, due to the power of the array heartgoo. As the array heartgoo infiltrated, it gave birth to a formation spirit in the array. Thus, it was like it had evolved the array, from an industrial era to an intelligent era. The arrays before still needed guardianship from people. But now, the formation spirit could automatically operate, repair, and warn, requiring no human intervention. Who knows how much manpower and resources it saved? Compared to other nascent soul powers, the array technology he mastered was superior by who knows how many times. Of course, the array heartgoo has now entered the divinity transformation relic of the Kurong sect and is still continuously attempting to infiltrate and assimilate the enormous 5th stage array there. Don't assume that the peripheral array has been hacked. But how could the 5th order array of that divinity transformation relic be that simple? The real core array had not been exposed. So, he was sure that group of nascent soul cultivators' actions will not go as smoothly. That being said, in order to avoid the battle of that group of nascent soul forces affecting here, he activated the Xianyan heavy water array in advance, completely sealing this sea area. No nascent soul cultivator could penetrate it. After all, this period was his key moment. Soon, he would be practicing to golden core completion, or even beginning to promote to the nascent soul realm. Therefore, he did not wish for too many accidents. Although sealing this sea area would cause Immortal Mist City to lose a large amount of income, it was nothing in the grand scheme of things. Once he becomes a cultivator of nascent soul, all losses can be compensated. Of course, the happenings in the Tri-Star Island group couldn't be hidden from the cultivators of the outside world. Especially those cultivators of nascent soul forces. Each one was very surprised and shocked by this event. What? Immortal Mist City has blocked the sea area of the Tri-Star Island group? Not allowing cultivators entry or exit. Some were speechless with disbelief, unsure of why such a thing would occur. Has the sect master of the King Mu sect completely gone mad? Is there need to be this anxious? Some were dumbfounded. Naturally, they considered Lin Yazu as the only master of Immortal Mist City. After all, she was the proprietor of the Tri-Star Island group, the only nascent soul cultivator, thus she was naturally the ruler of this sea area. Basically, they all took this incident as an order from Lin Yazu. They did not consider it to be another person's decision. After all, according to the conventions of the cultivation world, it has always been the higher level cultivators commanding the lower level ones. Where is the reasoning in the lower level cultivators commanding the higher level ones? It's estimated that they are wary of any accidents in the divinity transformation relic which may affect the Tri-Star Island group. Tisk tisk, the sect master of the King Mu sect is simply a coward. It's disappointing that she is a nascent soul cultivator. No, that's not quite it. This is showing her stance, stating her refusal to participate in this matter. Indeed that's the case. As a cultivator freshly promoted to nascent soul, she naturally does not have the strength to get involved with the divinity transformation relic. Perhaps, in a way, this can be considered a means of self-preservation. I must say, as a loose cultivator with the nascent soul, to be able to grow to such an extent today, she certainly is somewhat capable. Being cautious isn't necessarily a bad thing. Who knows how many cultivators have died from recklessness? We've been cultivating for hundreds of years and certainly don't want to perish due to carelessness. Forget it. This matter doesn't have much to do with us. Don't forget about the treasures within the divinity transformation relic, we must not miss out. You're absolutely right. This is our great opportunity. We shouldn't be concerned with the sect master of King Mu sect. The numerous nascent soul cultivators were chattering. They were also quite surprised by the choice Immortal Mist City made, not expecting that party to be so decisive. But soon, they had turned their attention to the divinity transformation relic. With the outer prohibition array being broken, large numbers of cultivators began to explore deeper into the island. If one were to fall behind, the treasures inside would probably be taken away. Chapter 447 1000-year-old spiritual medicine, Divinity Transformation Medicine Garden _1. 1 month later. The news came from the ruins of the nascent soul sect once again. Although they had managed to break the prohibition array of these ruins, they had only entered the outer area. Of course, even so, the outer area was quite large. After all, the entire island had a diameter of over 1,000,000 kilometers, and the outer area spanned at least hundreds of thousands of kilometers. Most of the island was made up of dense, uninhabited forests. But without a doubt, a great war broke out. The reason was simple: they found a massive medicinal herb garden. This garden was filled with densely planted spiritual medicines. Because no one had tended it in a long time, these spiritual medicines had grown very old. At least they were 1,000-year-old spiritual medicines. Among them, there was a 1,000-year-old spiritual medicine, the sky-mending herb, which was the main ingredient of the fourth stage treasure pill called sky-mending pill. The sky-mending pill had an astonishing effect that could fix all deficiencies of the body, heal all types of wounds, and even increase the spiritual root level. Thus, the sky-mending pill was enough to make even nascent soul cultivators go crazy. After all, many nascent soul cultivators had accumulated a lot of internal injuries from hundreds of years of battles, which hindered them from advancing further. If they could take a sky-mending pill, they would probably be able to continue their cultivation path. Which nascent soul cultivator wouldn't go mad for it? There was also a 1,000-year-old spiritual medicine, the Heaven's Origin fruit, the primary ingredient of the fourth stage treasure pill called Heaven's Origin pill. Taking a Heaven's Origin pill could possibly help early stage nascent soul cultivators break through to the middle stage. This was another pill that many nascent soul cultivators dearly desired. Aside from these, there were many other 1,000-year-old spiritual medicines, which were the main ingredients of various fourth stage treasure pills. As one could imagine, all the nascent soul cultivators completely lost their minds. After all, the difficulty of their cultivation stemmed from the lack of many ancient spiritual medicines, which made it impossible to refine the fourth stage treasure pill. But now, this medicinal herb garden had so many ancient spiritual medicines, 1,000-year-old spiritual medicines, indicating that the refinement of various fourth stage treasure pills now became possible. A great war between nascent soul cultivators instantly broke out. For the sake of these 1,000-year-old spiritual medicines, numerous nascent soul cultivators started fighting without mercy. Unluckily, the shockwaves from these cultivators' battles touched the prohibition array left by the Kurong sect. Immediately, this fifth stage prohibition array activated, bursting out with a terrifying destructive power. A significant number of cultivators fell. Even nascent soul cultivators couldn't escape and were killed. Only a small number of cultivators managed to escape from the medicinal herb garden. However, these survivors had harvested a large amount of 1,000-year-old spiritual medicines and gained a lot. But, they also found themselves hunted and surrounded by other cultivators. The whole nascent soul ruin became chaotic like a pot of congee. At every moment, many cultivators fell, turning this place into a battlefield for nascent soul cultivators. For a chance at greater progress, they showed no mercy. I never expected the nascent soul ruins would be this chaotic, with all the nascent soul cultivators battling each other. This sea area has turned into a battlefield. Fortunately, Zhou Sui launched the fourth stage top grade array, the Great Array Xianyan Heavy Water Array, in advance. Otherwise, some nascent soul cultivators would rush in and try to lead the disaster over here. Lin Yazua felt extremely relieved. Over the past month, a few nascent soul cultivators who had reaped great benefits had escaped from the nascent soul ruins, only to be pursued and killed by other nascent soul ancestors. These nascent soul cultivators even wanted to break into the Tri-Star Island group, trying to lead their pursuers there. Fortunately, Zhou Sui had anticipated this and activated the Xianyan Heavy Water Array in advance, sealing off this sea area. Any nascent soul cultivator trying to break in would be struck by lightning. Seeing this, many nascent soul cultivators had no choice but to give up their efforts to enter the Tri-Star Island group. This made the Tri-Star Island group the only peaceful place in this sea area. Zhou Sui, why are there so many 1,000-year-old spiritual medicines in the nascent soul ruins? Chu Dai asked curiously. Because there were indeed too many 1,000-year-old spiritual medicines in the nascent soul ruins, enough to make many nascent soul cultivators green with envy. There had been nascent soul ruins before. But none of them had as many harvest as this nascent soul ruin. Well, this definitely has much to do with the Kurong sect. It is said that in the ancient era, the Kurong sect itself was a famous alchemy sect known throughout the Kanglan Sea area. They were extremely good at cultivating spiritual medicines and making pills. And this medicinal herb garden is just one of the small medicinal herb gardens in the nascent soul ruins. There are many similar small herb gardens on the island. It is rumored that there is a divine medicine garden in the core area of Kurong sect, where 5th stage spiritual medicines are grown. Zhou Sui thought for a moment and then quickly shared all the intelligence he had gathered through his clone. After all, his clone was currently stationed in the outer area of the nascent soul ruins. Temporarily hidden among the trees, it went unnoticed by the other cultivators. Thus, he could gain much information, as if he was there himself. 5th stage spiritual medicine. Doesn't that mean the advanced cultivators in the late stage nascent soul are planning to advance into the core area? Chu Dai's eyes widened in surprise. She was well aware of how the late stage nascent soul cultivators would go crazy upon receiving this news. They had all been stuck in the late stage of nascent soul for too long and were looking for opportunities to break through to divinity transformation. Unfortunately, there had never been such an opportunity in the Kanglan Sea area before. But now, with the appearance of the nascent soul ruins and the 5th stage spiritual medicines, they were given new hope. Chapter 448. 1000-year-old spiritual medicine, divinity transformation medicine garden _2. They would never willingly give up this opportunity, surely they'd become even more frenzied. Exactly, they did indeed have such a plan. So, these great cultivators paid little attention to the peripheral regions and their minor herb gardens, and instead headed directly to the core region. Those competing for the 1000-year-old spiritual medicines are basically cultivators in the early stages of nascent soul or the mid-stages of nascent soul. Zhou Sui nodded. However, he didn't believe that those late-stage nascent soul cultivators could break into the core region so easily. The 5th stage formations in the core region and the prohibition arrays in the periphery were simply incomparable. His array Heartgu had been infiltrating all along. Unfortunately, thus far, it had yet to succeed. Should the prohibition arrays in the core region truly be activated, it's uncertain how many nascent soul cultivators might survive. The strength of the nascent soul sect, Kurong sect, was not to be underestimated. Their foundation was unfathomably deep. I wonder how Master Peach Blossom is faring. Zhou Sui squinted his eyes. Earlier, he had used a token to send a message to the other party. At that time, Master Peach Blossom and many nascent soul cultivators from the Wuji Alliance had entered into the Divine Transformation ruins. Sadly, there had been no news from Master Peach Blossom since then. However, through the power of the Obsession Gu, he could sense that Master Peach Blossom's life force was still quite vigorous. He should be safe for the time being. But he had no idea what would happen next. He just hoped that Master Peach Blossom wouldn't encounter any misfortune. Several days later, in the deep of night, under a sparsely starry sky, in the bedroom at Immortal Mist Peak. Husband, it seems like tonight's cultivation was also quite effective. Shen Baiqian's cheeks were flushed with color, as she felt the golden core cultivation power within her body increasing rapidly. Dual cultivating just once with her own husband was better than several days of bitter cultivation on her own. Due to the excellent results, she was almost addicted to bitter cultivation every day, truly beyond extrication. If this continued, she might also soon attempt to form her nascent soul. Haha, of course, it is. Now the golden core cultivation power within me is profound, naturally, the help to you all is tremendous. Zhou Sui stroked his chin, admiring his partner's lovely form, and felt a wave of satisfaction in his heart. Indeed, cultivating bitterly with his own partner was better. Why risk adventure in some ruins, where encounters were often life-threatening? Why not improve one's cultivation slowly through dual cultivation with one's partner? Why desperately compete with other cultivators? One mistake could destroy years of cultivation, resulting in death and the dissipation of one's path. He felt his current life was quite pleasant. Just then, Zhou Sui sensed something and frowned. A murderous intent emanated from his body. What's the matter, husband? Has something significant occurred? Lin Yazue and the others all looked at Zhou Sui, noticing his stern expression. After all, it was rare for Zhou Sui to show such a serious face. Yes, some nascent soul cultivators have come to the edge of the array. They are chasing Master Peach Blossom. I'll go have a look. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhou Sui quickly dressed, activated the teleportation insect, and instantly arrived at the edge of the array. He flew in the skies, overlooking the sea below. Not far away in the high sky, numerous streaks of light were in frenzied pursuit, emitting beams of escape light, moving at an incredibly fast pace, each collision resulted in a battle fluctuation that covered thousands of miles. The entire sea was overturned, raising massive waves. Fortunately, the battle was taking place over the sea, because had it been on an island, the surrounding tens of thousands of miles would likely have been leveled. Clearly, nascent soul cultivators were fighting with their spells. One saw a pink streak of light rushing toward the 3-star islands, with 3 black streaks of light in relentless pursuit. He recognized at first sight that the person fleeing was Master Peach Blossom. The pursuers were 3 late-stage nascent soul cultivators, their bodies shrouded in terrifying demonic chi, obviously demon cultivators, but he wasn't too familiar with them. Nor did he know much about their origins. He only knew that the cultivation of these 3 demon cultivators was very powerful, having reached the late stages of nascent soul. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to chase Master Peach Blossom. Master Peach Blossom, enter the Grand Array first. At that moment, Zhou Sui immediately transmitted his divine consciousness to Master Peach Blossom. With a wave of his hand, the heavy water boundary at the edge of the array instantly opened, splitting in 2, creating an entrance sufficient for entering the array. All right. Upon hearing Zhou Sui's voice, Master Peach Blossom was overjoyed and sped up, instantly entering the array, after which the array barrier closed again. At this point, Master Peach Blossom looked pale, her clothes torn, revealing a body perfect to the extreme and skin as white as snow, unspeakably charming and pitiable. A face of absolute beauty, bathed in the moonlight, seemed exceptionally captivating. It was as if even the moon paled in comparison. Even though she was injured and fleeing, she remained exceedingly beautiful and alluring. But when Zhou Sui scanned her with his divine sense, he perceived that Master Peach Blossom's injuries were considerable but not critical. Although she looked shocking, her injuries were not life-threatening. This put him somewhat at ease. Master Peach Blossom, are your injuries all right? Zhou Sui asked. Nothing serious. With a few days' rest, I should be able to heal the injuries. Chapter 449 1000-year-old spiritual medicine, Divinity Transformation Medicine Garden _3. Thank goodness you arrived on time, otherwise, I might have been killed by these 3 demon cultivators. Master Peach Blossom was thankful. As she was pursued by 3 nascent soul demon cultivators, she instinctively flew towards the Tri-Star Island group. She knew that if she wanted to survive, she would need the help of that man. Despite him being merely a late golden core cultivator, he was more reliable than any nascent soul cultivator. Judging from the outcome, her choice was indeed correct. After making it to the Tri-Star Island group, she felt completely safe. What exactly happened? Weren't you with the Alliance Hierarch and the rest? Zhou Sui's curiosity was piqued. Under normal circumstances, it was unlikely for Master Peach Blossom to be pursued by other nascent soul cultivators. After all, who would dare to mess with the Wuji Alliance, which was backed by more than 30 nascent soul cultivators? In addition, with Deist Unlimited's strength, they could indeed deter many nascent soul cultivators. It didn't seem plausible for Master Peach Blossom to end up in such a predicament. Sigh, we underestimated the power of the God Transformation Legacy site. We thought that once we broke through the outer prohibition array, we wouldn't have any problem with the array in the core area. Who could have foreseen that, during the decoding process, there was an accident? It triggered the 5th stage formation of the Kurong sect. As a result, my father, Deist Unlimited, Deist Kongsu of the Tianjian sect, and Deist Tianswan of the Suanbao Tower, along with other sect masters, were trapped within the array and couldn't get out in the short term. Just at that moment, I found the storage bags of several Kurong sect nascent soul corpse remains. Judging from the attire on the corpses, they might have been elders of the Kurong sect. The storage bags contained a significant amount of treasures, quite valuable. Most importantly, there were 4th stage treasure pills. 1 mu pills consuming 1 could increase the mana of a late-stage nascent soul cultivator by 20 years. In addition, there were also lots of legacies from the Kurong sect. But this was discovered by the elder ancestor Heiyu of the Sky Demon sect, the elder ancestor Minjian of the Haisha Palace, and the elder ancestor Jiying of the Xianyan sect. As a result, they attacked me in collusion. Even though my cultivation had also advanced to the late-stage nascent soul, compared to these 3 established nascent soul cultivators, I stood no chance, and was beaten into a retreat. Master Peach Blossom recounted the events that had just transpired in detail. Clearly, those 3 nascent soul demon cultivators were motivated by greed. In addition, with Deist Unlimited and other late-stage nascent soul cultivators trapped within the 5th stage formation, they couldn't get out in the short term. Consequently, they had become unabashed, ganging up against Master Peach Blossom. Even if they ended up killing Master Peach Blossom and infuriating Deist Unlimited, they didn't care. After all, they had their respective sex backing. Even if Deist Unlimited became furious later, he couldn't do anything to them. Moreover, considering the chance at achieving enlightenment, these 3 nascent soul demon cultivators wouldn't let Master Peach Blossom escape. Vroom vroom vroom. At this moment, 3 rays of light arrived instantly and reached the outer area of the array. 3 old men appeared immediately, each emitting a powerful nascent soul mana aura. The force seemed to distort a radius of thousands of li around them. Dark clouds filled the sky, layers of black fog enveloping it. Hand over the storage bags of the Kurong sect cultivators instantly, Master Peach Blossom. Otherwise, you will not escape your fate today. The speaker was Elder Ancestor Heiyu of the Sky Demon sect, wearing a black robe with a moon emblem on his back. His body emanated a terrifying demon cultivator's aura and exuded a fierce sense of warfare. His pair of eyes gleamed in a purple glow, as if he could see through the heavy water boundary, viewing Zhou Sui and Master Peach Blossom behind it. He didn't hide the murderous intent emanating from his body. Who are you, a mere golden core cultivator, daring to assist Master Peach Blossom? Are you seeking death? Elder Ancestor Heiyu stared at Zhou Sui. His heart was filled with rage. There was no doubt that, had this man not activated the array barrier, Master Peach Blossom would have been unable to escape their grasp. He resented Zhou Sui through and through. Blazing anger filled his heart. Honestly, he was determined to acquire the storage bags belonging to the deceased Kurong sect cultivators. These bags contained plenty of precious treasures. Surely these were remnants from the ancient god transformation sect, and might contain a large number of rare pills. Even legacies from the Kurong sect could possibly be inside the storage bags. If he managed to get his hands on these legacy cultivation methods, his cultivation could likely make further breakthroughs. Even the possibility of becoming a god transformation cultivator might not be unlikely. Hence, faced with such an opportunity for advancement, he would absolutely not give up. Why so angry? In these god transformation legacy sites, gaining an opportunity is based entirely on one's ability. You attempt to outnumber others despite being less skilled, which is a bit unfair. How about we all take a step back, cease combat, and keep a peaceful front, for my sake? Zhou Sui chuckled, making a suggestion to Elder Ancestor Heiyu and the rest, hoping for everyone to make peace. Screw peace. Who do you think you are, a mere golden core bug, yet you dare to play peacemaker? If I didn't have the 4th stage formation protection, I could kill you with one slap. You dare babble in my face? It seems you've grown tired of living. Elder Ancestor Minjian of the Haisha Palace sneered, revealing his violent temper. From his body, bursts of black flame erupted as if intending to ignite the mountains and boil the sea. The surrounding temperature rose sharply, appearing like it could incinerate the array barrier. Chapter 450 1000-year-old spiritual medicine, Divinity Transformation Medicine Garden _4. He thought the golden core cultivator before him was simply insane, daring to negotiate with a nascent soul cultivator. Was he tired of living? Why should he give face to such a small golden core cultivator? Just because of a 4th stage array, he actually thought he could be on par with a nascent soul cultivator. A mere golden core cultivator dares to make a fuss in front of us. Today, not only will I seize the storage bag of that Kurong sect cultivator, but I will also arrest you too, and let's see what you can do. The extreme shadow ancestor of the Xuanyan sect sneered coldly, an intense chilling aura permeating from his body. It seemed as though the power of his nascent soul domain could freeze the entire surrounding sea area. He was somewhat amused. Having lived for so long, this was the first time he had seen a golden core cultivator dare to show off in front of a nascent soul ancestor. This young man really didn't understand his own weight. Refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. I cannot be blamed. All 3 of you will die here. Zhou Sui looked at the Black Moon ancestor and the others impassively, his eyes as calm as a lake, but obviously, he was also angry. Since these 3 nascent soul cultivators did not want to give face, then simply let them all die here. Boom! In an instant, the 4th stage Great Array Xuanyan Heavy Water Array started, and the range of this array barrier unexpectedly expanded again. It immediately enveloped the Black Moon ancestor, Ming Yan ancestor, and Extreme Shadow ancestor. Clearly, the coverage of this big array is not merely 20,000 miles. The reason why it only covered 20,000 miles sea area was that he had shrunk the power of the formation. In reality, the array's range could reach a region of 500,000 miles. With a single thought, he could expand the range of the array, enveloping those three nascent soul late-stage cultivators within it, leaving them with no place to hide. What? The complexions of the Black Moon Ancestor, Ming Yan Ancestor, and Extreme Shadow Ancestor changed. They had initially been very relaxed because the opponent couldn't hurt them from outside the array. But now, the array expanded again, enveloping them instantly. At this moment, they felt the formidable boundary force of the fourth stage array and the omnipresent pressure. It seemed that in an instant, every inch of the world was their enemy. They were unwelcome in the array, and they were under tremendous pressure everywhere. Heavy water. In an instant, Zhou Sui made a move, immediately launching the Xianyan heavy water array. Above, the sky was full of dark clouds as countless Xianyan heavy waters came together and formed a huge storm layer. The next second a torrent of Xianyan heavy water descended from mid-air, covering the sea area. Each drop of Xianyan heavy water was as heavy as a mountain. Thousands of raindrops fell like thousands of mountains, their power enough to destroy an island. Feeling this terrifying power and the omnipresent murderous intent, even the nascent soul late-stage cultivators twisted their expressions, detecting an immense danger to their lives. Black Moon Banner. In an instant, the Black Moon Ancestor acted, immediately taking out a top-grade spiritual treasure, Black Moon Banner. A black moon appeared on it, seemingly releasing an ominous aura. With a wave of his hand, waving the Black Moon Banner, he unleashed endless black heavenly demon chi, forming several ominous huge black moons, like stars. The spiritual energy of the earth and heaven within thousands of miles was absorbed by him and gathered in the Black Moon Banner, exploding with earth-shattering power. Boom rumbling. At once, two forces clashed, like a comet hitting Earth, generating unmatched destructive power. Thousands of miles of the sea area suffered severe tremors, with massive tsunamis happening. Even the force reached deep into the seabed, causing a quake and opening terrifying chasms, as if even the seafloor was torn apart by this force. Many marine creatures deep in the ocean couldn't bear this force and died in large numbers. A large number of fish corpses floated on the sea surface, blood flowing. With just one strike, the Black Moon Ancestor demonstrated the terrifying combat power of a nascent soul late-stage cultivator, which in no way was comparable to that of the nascent soul middle-stage or early-stage cultivators. The combat power had increased by at least 10 times.